Good afternoon, race fans, and welcome to the show. I am Brett the Jet in the booth with Turn 3 Racing Network, and we are tuning into race 15 of the Riptide Radio Next Gen Series with the 802 iRacing League. Tonight we have a good one here, Nashville Super Speedway. This track very, very tricky with the concrete corners that this place calls home. It's going to be high speeds, close action in the corners, and then like I said, high speeds down the straightaways and some quick times right now. Quick time here in practice going to the 6 car of Johnny Barker, just 100th off of the track record. Track record for this league a 30.30, so we are right there in reaching distance of that here for qualifying. We'll see if anyone can walk away with that. Of course, these guys ventured into Nashville Super Speedway 2 times before tonight. This will make their 3rd appearance. Winners previously here at the Nashville Super Speedway. First time they came here was in season 2, and the winner of that race, the 21 machine of Rob Lowell. And then John Ross picked up the win here last year. We'll see who can pick up the win here tonight, as we have 200 miles in tonight's race for the Honky Tonk 200. And I tell you what, folks, I am definitely excited. 22 cars here on the premise ready to take their qualifying laps and the green flag, of course. Just like always, qualifying will be 2 laps, taking the best lap of each driver to set tonight's starting grid. After that, we will go the distance of 200 miles here at the Nashville Super Speedway. So practice will come to a close. Johnny Barker right now with the quick time just beating out Jim Ott for the bragging rights here in practice. But now, here's where the rubber meets the road. Qualifying up next. And of course, just like always, someone's walking away with a little bit of bragging rights, a little bit of cash in their pocket, thanks to Leaf Guard, because whoever walks away with the quick time here tonight will walk away with that Leaf Guard Pole Award money. First car to hit the speedway, running a special scheme. He has been pretty good with this scheme on the car. It's the 21 machine of Rob Lowell. Rob gets that thing up and rolling here down the backstretch through 3 and 4. And then that 21 machine heads to the stripe. So Rob Lowell goes on the clock here at Nashville Super Speedway. Of course, right down the road from this racetrack is the Nashville Fairgrounds, where a lot of the short track guys cut their teeth at. And that track in and of itself, puts on a pretty good show. These guys traveled to that track actually earlier this season, so making 2 stops here in the Nashville area. Tonight, of course, the final stop of that trip for race number 15, as the 21 machine crosses the stripe. First lap for Rob will be a 30.38, a very solid first lap. We'll see if he can pick up any time here on lap number 2. I was a betting man. I would have to say that first lap is where it's going to be at, because these tires fall off here in a hurry at the Nashville Super Speedway. Right now, Rob Lowell still with the quickest. Johnny Barker 2nd, Jeff Pogo 3rd. Jim Ott able to slot into 4th. Nick Larson rounding out the top 5 here at the moment. Lowell across the stripe for the 2nd time, 30.41. So within reaching distance of his quick time, but not quite able to beat it. So that will be a tough lap to beat here. We take a look now at the 69 machine. Last week's bridesmaid, Chris Taylor, having himself a great run last week, able to finish 2nd at Bristol. Tonight, Chris Taylor, lap number 1, good enough for 16th, 30.97. Going to try and find some more speed here on lap number 2. And Johnny Barker to the top of the timing scoring. He goes to the top with a 30.21, shattering the track record that was here before. So Johnny Barker with the new track record with these guys here at the Nashville Super Speedway. Chris Taylor able to find some more speed. Will bump him up only to 18th. Now back to 19th, as I believe Holmes able to find some time here. Now Now we take a look at the only car that has yet to take a lap besides the 74 machine. This is the 62 of Frank Zingen. Zingen able to slot into 8th position on lap number 130.40. Nick Larson with a great time. Same with Jeff Pogo on lap number 2. Those guys sit 2nd and 3rd respectively. Zingen lap number 1 good enough for P number 8. Going to try and find some more speed here on the final lap for the 62 machine, as he will come through turns 3 and 4 for the final time. We'll go all the way down to the apron, try and cut that front stretch as short as possible. And Zingen able to find a zinger, and we'll go up to P number 2. We'll start on the outside of the front row. But here tonight, walking away with another podium. I have to double check, see how many it is for this number 6 car, because coming into tonight, he had the most ever at 14 pole positions. With the pole here tonight, that'll make it 15 in his career. Johnny Barker walking away with that Leaf Guard pole award and some more bragging rights. And I tell you what, folks, this season for Johnny Barker, I want to say this puts him on his own tier, 3rd pole position this season. And that breaks the tie that he had with Jim Ott and Stephen Holmes. So Johnny Barker in a company of his own, both overall in the pole awards as well as this season. So big congrats to Johnny Barker in that Valvoline number 6, walking away with tonight's Leaf Guard pole award here at Nashville Superspeedway. So taking a look one more time here at the rest of the standings, very close through 1st through 10th, you know, a 10th and a half separating all of those guys, and then kind of falls off just a little bit, but as you can see, half a second between the whole entire field here tonight in qualifying. So some great efforts, and once again, congrats to Mr. Barker walking away with another quick time pole award, that being number 3 of this season. So here we go, 150 laps the distance, 200 miles will be the goal here tonight for all of these drivers. We got cars getting ready to rock and roll here on the front stretch. On pit lane, getting ready to head to the front stretch. But here now, let's run through tonight's starting order for the Honky Tonk 200 here at Nashville Superspeedway. Like we mentioned before, Johnny Barker leading the field to the green flag in that Valvoline number 6 machine. To his outside will be the Out of the Woods Crafts, part of the Piston Broke Penny Stackers team. It is the 62 of Frank Zingen. Then we head back to Wolfpack Racing for our 3rd starting driver. He pilots the number 2. It is Nick Larson, rolling off P number 3. Then in P number 4, that red and black machine, our points leader in the 97, it is Jeff Pogo, rolling off P number 4. And then rounding out the top 5 here tonight will be the number 4, that is Jim Ott. Kenny Reel making a late appearance here tonight. Glad to see him out on track. He will roll off P number 6. 7th going to the 8 car of Matthew Taylor. Rolling off P number 8 will be the 21. That is Rob Lowell. Then we head to P number 9. That is Stephen Holmes in the number 90. Then to round out the top 10, that will be the 81, piloted by Dan Dill. Rolling off P number 11 will be Christian Delgado in the 31 machine. 12th will be Dustin Coggins in the 42. Then we head back to 13th here tonight, that being occupied by Cody Brewer in the 12. Rolling off 14th will be John Buell in the 47. Rounding out the top 15 is Dylan Jacobs in the 88. Justin Branham in the 58 will roll off 16th. 17th is Brandon Guerin in the number 1 car. 18th going to Eli Raposa in the 46 machine. And then 19th is Ariba Caton in the 30 machine. Starting P number 20 will be the 69. That is Chris Taylor. 21st going to Caleb Hatt in the 22nd. And then rounding out the field here tonight will be the 74 machine of Jason Arison. Alrighty, so that will do it here for tonight's starting grid. And here we go, front row, Barker and Zingen. This should be a good one here, folks. 150 laps is the distance here as we get ready to turn them loose. Zingen has not won this season. Johnny Barker, one win to his name this season. Both these guys would love to visit victory lane, close their gaps in the championship and the points hunt, because that is coming to a close after tonight. I believe only 6 more races, as here we go. Barker on the loud pedal. He gets a slight advantage, but a great start by Zingen up top. They'll go 2 by 2, flying down into turn number 1. Pretty even through 1 and 2 for our race lead here. Zingen's gonna have the momentum here up on the top lane. He will be able to just get a nose in front of Barker, but they stay dead even as they drive through turns number 3 and 4. The rest of the field tries to fan on out, but here on lap number 1, Johnny Barker will lead at the stripe. Jeff Pogo here trying to work over Nick Larson up on the top lane. Larson down low, Pogo up top in some clean air here at the moment, but has to go the long distance around. As you can see, no real progressive banking, anything like that, so it's going to be very tough to make the top lane work. The only way it starts to work is if that inside lane starts to get hot, drivers start searching when these tires start wearing. But Pogo already on the prowl here. He will try and snatch P number 2 from Zingen. Has the advantage at the stripe. Will drive it in there deep and will clear the 62 machine. So Jeff Pogo up to P number 2. Pogo has figured something out here early. He is a man on a mission, looking through the rest of the field here tonight. So far, pretty single filed out here at the moment. Now Larson was able to get around Zingen. Now Jim Ott going to try and do the same. Right behind them, though, sits the 11 of Kenny Reel. Reel just looking for any sort of room here tonight. These drivers know they got a long distance yet to go here, so no point in really pushing these cars too hard to try and hang on to a position, because they have a long way to go, especially before their first scheduled green flag pit stops. So Ott around Zingen. Now Ott trying to get around Nick Larson. This is a battle for the 3rd position here at the moment. Up in front of them, Barker and Pogo starting to check out just a little bit, but Pogo all over the back bumper of our race leader. These two will drag race down the backstretch for that 3rd position here. Ott will drive it in a little bit deeper than Larson. Can he make it stick? Yes, he can. Jim Ott up into P number 2. Larson back to P number 4. So with that, now only battle on the speedway is the one for the race lead, as Jeff Pogo tries to tiptoe around the bottom, able to do that. So Jeff Pogo out in front. Can he hang on to this position? Looks like he will. Barker will slot into line in that 2nd position. So Jeff Pogo here at the stripe will lead the first laps of the day for him here on lap number 7. Looking a little bit further back here, Dustin Coggins able to get around Cody Brewer for the 10th position. So move Coggins up into the top 10. Speaking about this 42 machine, he had himself a career night here 1 week ago at the Bristol Motor Speedway. Coggins able to end up on the podium in that 42 machine, so we're able to chat with him a little bit with the full race recap there on a Thursday night, which is a little bit weird, but luckily everyone was great sports about that, able to chat with quite a few drivers, so that was definitely very cool. As we take a look a little bit just outside of the top 10 here, Matthew Taylor able to get around Kenny Reel for 6, but Taylor a little bit loose off of turn number 2. That allows Reel to get on by. Same with Christian Delgado. So Delgado here in this 31 machine up into P number 7. At the moment, the biggest mover of the race, up 4 spots here. So Delgado started a bit deep here in tonight's race, able to pick off a few spots to kick off the race. He's hoping to keep on to march forwards here, but has Kenny Real right in front of him here in that 11 machine. Out in front though, Jeff Pogo kind of leading the way, Johnny Barker in second, and Jim Ott has caught these first two, now making a 3-horse race for the lead. And then behind them, Nick Larson kind of on his own island there in fourth, Frank Zingen in fifth, and then we get the rest of the pack kind of right back there. So you got to wonder, are these three burning up their stuff, using up too much pace here early? Only one way to find out, and that is to continue to let this race play on out under the green flag conditions. And back here around the 15th position here tonight, as a great battle between Buell, Taylor, Guerin, and Jacobs. Riding on board with Jacobs there through the middle of 1 and 2 in this very dark and pretty slick looking 88 machine. Right in front of them, Brandon Guerin and Chris Taylor going side by side. That is a battle for the 15th position here tonight. Guerin trying to roll around the high side. Taylor just trying to wrap that inside lane. Pushes on up there, loses the front end just a little bit. Now allow Guerin to get on by, maybe even Jacobs as well. That's probably right there, folks. We saw it there by the 69 Superflow machine. One of the trickiest parts of this track is corner entry, because you carry so much speed down into these not so banked corners that if you lose that front end, you're going to kill that momentum on corner exit, and with that, you know, that can kill your speed all the way down a straightaway, let's say. And we know this place has very long straightaways, so that's going to be the toughest thing these drivers will have to face here tonight, is keeping that front end underneath them, especially as they try and roll as much speed as possible. As trouble here towards the front, our race leader, Jeff Pogo, slow on the front stretch. Oh, you hate to see it here. Our leader and points leader, the 97 machine of Jeff Pogo. We'll try and figure out what happened to the 97 here right at the start finish line here. We'll take a look here on the turn 3 race and replay. It looks like Pogo gets a little loose there off of turn number 4. Still loose under that car, and looks like just loses that. Wow. We'll collect Johnny Barker into the wall, and that's a mistake you don't see too often. That is, of course, with the 97 machine just losing it on his own there. And we see a very busy pit road as Jim Ott and Nick Larson stay on out, and the majority of the field down on pit road. So interesting call here tonight, lap 15, a lot of cars down. We'll have to keep an eye on, see if a lot of drivers take tires, because only 3 sets of tires over the wall here tonight. As it looks like mostly just fuel for a lot of drivers, but a few of them taking some tires here. Fuel only for everyone but Rob Lowell and Jeff Pogo. So it looks like Pogo won't take the fast repair here. We'll stay in his pit stall, try and get that repairs done, and we'll see if the 97 is here. Yes, he is. So we'll try and get a word with Pogo, see kind of what happened to that 97 machine here tonight. Hey Jeff, do you got a copy? It's Brett the Jet in the booth here.
Oh yeah.
Alrighty, man. So a rare mistake we see from the 97 machine. What happened there off of turn number 4, and how tricky is this track? It seems like a handful.
Yeah, it's a handful. I mean, it's kind of weird a little bit. Little tight on entry, and then free off. Obviously, you see, give me a little wiggle, and then just kind of snap loose on me. So,
yes, sir.
Mistake for sure, but we'll see if we can bounce back.
Yeah, that definitely could be the case here, Pogo. You're up front there leading some laps. How different is this track? You know, a very high-speed track, but very low grip corners, like you mentioned, kind of tight on entry without that grip, and then loose on the exit with that banking going away and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, I mean it's a fun track. Like you said, it's high speed, but there's a lot of risk with it. But I don't know. It's gonna take me a little bit to get used to this car. After you spend 12 hours running a GT3 car at Sebring, it's a little different.
Yeah, that it is. All right, Jeff. Well, we'll let you get back to racing action. Looks like you guys are on one to go here. So good luck making your way through the field here.
Thanks, buddy.
Alrighty, that was Jeff Pogo involved in our last yellow. As here we go, it's Jim and Nick Larson out in front here on the restart. Will get a great start, fire off out of a cannon, and Jim Ott away and clear. Larson a little bit sleeping there. That allows now Cody Brewer, with him staying out, he will find himself in third position trying to tackle second away from Nick Larson. So a big shakeup here to start the race with some drivers taking fuel, some taking some tires, some electing just to stay out, get that track position. At the moment, Johnny Barker, furthest car up front, that did top on off. Then right behind him, Christian Delgado, and then everyone else trying to fight their way through the field here. As Jim Ott away in front here, top four single filed out. Then it's a side-by-side battle for fifth as Jacobs almost put Chris Taylor in the wall there off the two. Man, oh man, it could have been inches between those two cars. I think Taylor did get the wall. That's about as close as you can get a car there, into the wall, to the wall, without them wrecking there. As now it is Johnny Barker looking to the inside of the 69 machine. This is now a battle for that sixth position out here. We saw Rob Lowell and Jeff Pogo both take tires right now. They run 14th and 15th here at the moment. Stephen Holmes having some sort of issue here. We can see Holmes back onto the speedway here just a moment. So not sure if Holmes had some sort of a pass-through or penalty, but he will get back out on the speedway, but he found himself one lap down here at the moment. So Jim Ott able to check on out. Nick Larson in second. Brandon Guerin now up to P number 3 as he got around Cody Brewer. Now Dylan Jacobs trying to catch the back of that number 12 machine. Further on back here, 3 wide into turn number 1, not gonna work. Caton will get a piece of the wall there off the nose of the number 8 machine. The Hooters number 30 machine will slide big time up the racetrack there, off in turns 1 and 2. And that could have been very, very bad. Luckily, everyone keeps it underneath him, but definitely some damage to the right front of that 30 machine. Wonder how that thing will drive, because we see the damage to the right front of Jeff Pogo, and he has found it kind of hard to get through the field so far. So I think that damage definitely affecting that number 90 machine. Not the race that he needs to have here. Does come into tonight with a pretty good points cushion over second in the points, but you know, you start stringing together bad races, that can go down in a hurry. Right now in this battle is our second in points, Christian Delgado, currently trying to get around Cody Brewer for that 6th position here. Chris Taylor right there, as we hear a car around here on the front stretch, and a couple of them, as the last car to come to a stop will be the 46 machine of Eli Raposa. Raposa trying to get that thing righted here, and those tires hot, very tough to get that thing rocking and rolling. Only car that did want to see that yellow is this number 90 Motorcraft machine of Stephen Holmes. So we will take a look here to see what brought out our second yellow of the night as we ride with Raposa here, looking to the inside of Caton. And it looks like Raposa and Caton just fighting for that same real estate will make contact in this very, very long and sweeping tri-oval. Both of them get together, and then it's the final contact that fully sends the 46 machine right around. And I think for the most part, these guys walking away with minimum damage on these cars. Raposa will just slide it just a touch to that outside wall, but could have been a lot bigger hits for these guys. So you can see the little bit of scrapes on the nose of the 46 machine, but could have been a lot worse for Raposa in the W number 46. So with this, some more drivers coming down to pit road, being led down here by Jim Ott. Ott will take 4 tires here this stop. Same with everyone. It looks like that did come down this time, taking 4 tires here. So we will have to see how this works out for the field, because that leaves about the top 9 or 10 staying on out with old tires. And then we look at the likes of Brandon Guerin, Dylan Jacobs, and Chris Taylor. All 3 of those cars have yet to visit pit road here tonight. So a lot of strategy developing here in these first 25 laps, with drivers trying to figure out what might be the right move, especially if we get a long green flag run. I mean, these yellows have been either 1 or 2 car just 2 car incidents here. So if everyone starts to get spread on out, it could shape up for a very long green flag run here in a hurry. This time by, though, Brandon Guerin will choose here at the stripe. Looks like we'll elect the inside lane, so that moves Dylan Jacobs up to the outside of the front row. Everyone else will double file them up and get ready to go back green flag racing. So top 5 on the restart will be Brandon Guerin in first, Dylan Jacobs second, Christian Delgado in the 3rd position, Chris Taylor in 4th, and then it's Rob Lowell rounding out the top 5 here on restart number 2. So Guerin in this number 1 machine did visit Victory Lane 2 weeks ago at the Talladega Super Speedway. Another track with a super speedway in its name. Could it be good luck? We'll find out here as Brandon Guerin leading the field back to the green flag. Guerin away through the sequential gearbox, and he gets a great start out in front. Delgado and Jacobs will go side by side into turn number 1. Jacobs will try and hold the high lane here up top. Can't quite do it for that 2nd position. Give that to Christian Delgado. Now Jacobs under fire from Kenny Reel. Reel will sail it in there, try and make it stick on the bottom side, and looks like he can. Though here comes Jacobs with a bit of a run up top. You can see how that advantage changes here as Reel able to drive it in there deeper, but then you see the run that Jacobs can get up on the top side. But it seems like especially turns 1 and 2, that inside lane has the preferred line. 3 and 4, the top side can roll that a little bit better and get a run down this very long front stretch. Battle for 5th here on your screen. Rob Lowell to the inside of Chris Taylor. Like I mentioned before, battle for 5th here. Right behind them, Dan Dill sits in the wings. Same with John Buell. And it's Jim Ott, Johnny Barker, first cars on fresh rubber. So we'll see how those two can get through the field here as they got cars battling heavily in front of them. Barker says, you know, it's time to rock and roll. I'm going to go to the top side here. He'll get the run on Dill here, but Dill will go to the inside of Taylor, so they stay side by side in front of these guys. Great racing here tonight in the first 30 laps of the distance. Only a fifth of the way through tonight's race as Jim Ott just trying to find where our car is not in front of him. He's able to get a run to the top side of Dill. Had to lose it just a little bit with Chris Taylor in front of him. Will now shoot to the inside of the number 69 machine. Taylor Ott should be able to make pretty quick work on the 69, but still having some trouble to get around him, so maybe tires don't matter as much as we think here, as now Johnny Barker from the top side to the low side able to get a run on the 69. That was a great move there from Barker, able to build up that momentum, find the gap, and then go for it. Johnny Barker has been one of the probably the most aggressive, let's say, trying to get through this field here so far, and so far paying off for him because he's the best guy with tires, I should say fresh tires up in front. Probably about 10 lap older tires, but he currently runs in the third position, so 10 lap advantage to the 6 car of the tires compared to the 21. Most of the rest of the cars here inside the top 10 have yet to pit and have no fresh tires, but they have 3 sets sitting in the pits in case something crazy happens later in the race. Head back a little bit further here, seeing Dustin Coggins send it up the inside there. 3 wide for a moment as these guys, a couple cars bouncing off the front stretch wall there. Cody Brewer here falling through the order here at the moment, trying to find some speed up in the second lane. So far, I can't find it. Oh man, big time hit for the 42 machine. Wow, that was a big hit for Dustin Coggins there. And it looked very similar to kind of that snap loose we saw earlier in the race with Jeff Pogo. As I mean, man, what a vicious hit for that 42 machine. Got sideways and then snapped on around and whammo. We'll take a look here with the turn 3 race and replay. Kind of slowed on down, but you can see the back end starting to step out on the 42 machine. Starts putting wheel to the right, and then it hooks on up, sending him right into the wall. Oh man, Matthew Taylor, innocent bystander in that one, but a huge impact at a bad angle for that 42 machine, as everyone else able to make evasive maneuvers there, as it looks like no one else involved in this, because I believe the 12 machine of Brewer does get it righted, as him and Jason will cut through the grass just a little bit. But yeah, a big time hit for that 42 machine. We're going to go try and ride on board here with the replay. Going to try and ride on full speed here and take a look at this hit riding on board with the 42. You can see a little bit of wheel. Man, a vicious hit for that 42 machine of Dustin Coggins out here tonight, because yeah, you can see all it took is that little bit of wheel to the right, and that was enough to send that car right on around, head on into that wall in a big time hit. So once again, an incident involving a car getting loose and then involving a kind of innocent bystander. Saw that for the first caution. Now the same story, different time, different players, but the same story nonetheless for the third caution here tonight. So drivers may have to start keeping it in the back of their minds that these things can get out from underneath, and especially these next gen cars having the minimum side force, I should say minimal side force that they have. is that when they get sideways, you have to be lightning quick with that reaction, a little bit at a time, because once you get those things to hook on up, it's pretty much game over with these independent rear suspensions. So lights go out once again at the Nashville Super Speedway. Rob Lowell will elect the inside lane, so that 21 trading post machine, Gardner's trading post machine, will be in control of this restart. We'll have his teammate Johnny Barker to the outside of him. And then the other kind of favorite here early in this race seems to be this 4 car of Jim Ott. And I got to shout out this guy here really quick. The 90 of Stephen Holmes. You see him, I think, 4th car on this inside lane, that red car with the black roof. Holmes found himself the lucky dog candidate last yellow before that to start the race. I don't know if he had an issue on pit road or what happened, but finding himself a lap down here early. Now all the way back up into the 7th position for the number 90 machine. So here we go. Restart number 3 underway. The iRacing pace car here heads down pit road, and we get ready to fire them on off. Lowell, Barker making up the front row. Rob able to get away with a great jump here over the number 6. He will be all by himself now. It's Jim Ott, Johnny Barker, door number to door number. And man, Ott will drive it in there deep, get clear of the 6. Jim Ott will look to go to the front here as we get a caution flag here right on the restart. And there is one of the culprits here. Dan Dill here stopped along the fence. So we will have to see what brought out our 4th caution flag here. Quickly coming on out here right on the restart. So taking a look here, Dill there right in the middle. Gets a tap from Taylor, but it looks like mostly 3 wide racing gone awry. And luckily, once again, another 2-car incident that could have been a lot worse. But those cars able to walk away with barely a scratch on them. As wow, man, these guys have been keeping it nice, especially with these incidents. I mean, that right in front of most of the field could have been very bad. As we take a look here, riding on board, looking on back with Chris Taylor, and you can see that just the contact, just enough to send that car around. And then the rest of the field able to just squeak on by, as everyone else was able to safely get on through. So a quick caution right after our 3rd one, heading right into the 4th one of the night. So while we got some time here on the broadcast, we'll go throw it to a quick commercial break. On the other side, we'll get right back to racing action here with restart number 4 of the night. We come back here to the Nashville Super Speedway for race number 15 of the Riptide Radio Next Gen Series for season number 5. As we get ready to rock and roll here with restart number 4 of the Honky Tonk 200. Once again, the 21 machine of Rob Lowell leading the field to green, but now a new challenger to his outside. Jim Ott was able to get that restart and nail it in turns 1 and 2. We'll see what he can do on the high side, because it seems like whoever restarts second here, besides that initial start from the 62 machine, seems like it's a tough place to restart at here. So we'll see what I can do in that number 4 machine. Johnny Barker rolling off third on the restart. Frank Zingen fourth. Nick Larson rounding out the top 5 here on restart number 4 of the night. The iRacing pace car peels off of the track, and here we go once again. A little bit of checkup there in the inside lane. Rob Lowell back on the loud pedal, able to get away as Johnny Barker, once again, not a good restart for the number 6. Will lose about 4 spots there by the time they get to turn number 1. So if I had to guess, you know, with the sequential gearboxes, it's hard to miss a shift in these next-gen cars. I would have to think Johnny Barker maybe spun the tires or something and just lit them on up, lost the traction, and that allowed the cars around him to get on by. So leading this time by Rob Lowell. Jim Ott in close pursuit for second. Ott having a little bit of connection issues. Hopefully he can stay with the race here. Has had a couple races this season that ended in heartbreak for the number 4, as he was in contention for a win and then loses connection sometime during the race. We head back to the 4th position here. Nick Larson trying to get to the inside of Brandon Caron. Looks like Johnny Barker was able to get around Christian Delgado for the 6th position. Now here comes Barker trying to get his way back up into the top 5. Barker up into P number 5, and I say let's ride on board with Johnny Barker, see what it takes to make a pass maybe here, or for sure get around this Nashville Super Speedway. As you hear Barker there, maybe stuck a little bit in limbo between gears, or maybe that's just my replay. I know iRacing has some bugs sometimes with cars shifting and all that stuff, but cars right around 130 to 135 miles an hour in the corners, but by the time they get down the straightaway up to speed, they're all the way to 175 plus miles an hour. So that just shows you how much this track matters for momentum. As you can see, Delgado now getting around Johnny Barker, and these cars still dancing on every corner exit. So that just goes to show that what these guys are dealing with, you know, isn't a fluke. These things very, very difficult to bring on around the speedway. Oh, as we have trouble here on the front stretch, couple cars going on around. It looks like Chris Taylor, oh man, a big hit for the 69 machine of Chris Taylor. Taylor will finally bring that thing to a stop, but heavy damage to that Superflow 69 machine. Will have to use one of these fast repairs, as I believe that was our biggest incident of the night with the most amount of cars. I want to say about 4 of them, if not 5 of them, involved there right on the front stretch. A lot of cars, a lot of stuff going on. So we'll take a look here off of turn number 4. The 88 machine of Dylan Jacobs just gets loose. We'll tag John Buell and Branham. Then it's Chris Taylor trying to miss the incident. Comes across the nose of Dan Dill, and then, man, a big time hit for that 69 machine. Wow. So once again, an incident starting. We're going to go watch it here full speed if we can. Once again, incident starting with a car getting loose, getting that overcorrection. And then you see those 2 cars involved, and then right across the nose of Jacobs is Chris Taylor coming on by. Man, a big hit for Taylor. We'll try and watch one more time. Maybe we were kind of riding with Jeff Pogo. Maybe we ride on board with Pogo, see what he saw during all that. As you can see, cars spinning up top, they get it rolling. Then cars coming back across, spinning all over the place. And Jeff Pogo able to get on through. So we can see now all of the cars involved in caution number 5 down on pit road. As yeah, some big time hits to a lot of cars there for caution number 5, but I think only Chris Taylor will use that fast repair, get his car repaired up to 100%. But that means none left in the tank here for the rest of the race. Looks like most of the field staying on out on the speedway. Looks like first taker down on pit road is 12th position Dylan Jacobs. Jacobs only taking a splash of fuel and going. Everyone else, I think, taking some repairs as pretty long pit stops for the rest of the guys down on pit road. But here we go. It was Jim Ott out in front, but once again, Jim Ott in a great position in a race loses connection to the server. He is out of the race at the moment. So once again, big time heartbreak for the number 4 of Jim Ott. Now not out on the speedway. So once again, it will be Rob Lowell leading the field to green. To his outside will be the 62 of Frank Zingen. This race might be a little bit of race of attrition, especially as the grippiness in the tires starts to go away longer in a run. We are a third of the way through the race here tonight. Here, once we take back the green flag, it will be 100 laps to go here as the iRacing pace car dives down onto pit road. 5th restart of the night here coming at you. 21 machine of Rob Lowell has been money on the restarts. So far, it looks like another great restart from the 21. He will get out to about a 3-car advantage, as it looks like Christian Delgado will get clear of Zingen for second. So move Delgado up into heat number 2 at the moment. Biggest mover, I should say second biggest mover of the race. But here comes Frank Zingen with the crossover. Zingen will try and wrap that inside lane here. Delgado will try and build back up that momentum. They'll race door number to door number here right at the start finish line. Right now, dead even still as Delgado will drive it in there deep. He will get clear of Zingen. So Delgado, one of the guys with the freshest tires up towards the front. Last pitted on lap 35, whereas Rob Lowell last pitted on lap 14. So 20 lap newer tires for the 31 machine. And then about 10 lap newer tires than the next 3 cars behind him. So Delgado should make quick work of the cars around him. He just has to take his time because he doesn't want to see a yellow and have this strategy go out the door. He would probably love to see this race go green from here on out. Delgado now to the inside of Rob Lowell. This is a battle for the race lead. At the stripe, it will be Lowell by a nose, if even that. Probably just a few inches. Delgado will sail it in there deep on the inside lane, and he will take over the point for the first time here tonight. Christian Delgado now out in front. Frank Zingen will try the same move on the 21 machine he just saw the 31 do, but here at the stripe, Delgado will lead his first lap of the night if he wants to try and reel in our points leader. this is how he's going to have to do it. Delgado currently leading the way. Jeff Pogo, our points leader, in 15. That's how the points battle is shaping on out here at the moment. First two contenders in the points, that's where they're sitting. And it's Johnny Barker sitting about 18 points back from Delgado. So Johnny Barker here is in P number 3. So I think most of the field would love to see this race play on out, but I think there's still a long way to go. A lot can happen here. Head back right around the top 10 runners as Dan Dill big time sideways there. Right at the apex, right when you're rolling onto the throttle, able to hang onto that race car. Great save from the 81 machine, but you can see just the amount of speed he loses down the straightaway. All three of the cars right behind him close on up and then loses about 3 to 4 car lengths down one straightaway. As Dylan Jacobs now up into the 12th position. Eli Raposa here now under fire from Caleb Hatt. Had another big mover so far in the race, up 7 spots from where he started in this 27 machine, excuse me. Justin Branham here in the 58 HendricksCars.com machine under fire from Brandon Guerin. It's a battle for the 8th position, but Branham able to find some speed here. We'll look to the outside of Kenny Reel. Side-by-side battle now for the 7th position as Branham will drive it in there deep, set sail, and get clear. Up towards the front here, Johnny Barker has reclaimed the 2nd position out here. Frank Zingen relegated to 3rd. And then Matthew Taylor up inside the top 5. He currently finds himself in the 4th position. Was involved in that 2nd yellow of the night. Has rebounded nicely so far here up into P number 4. So top 4 starting to check on out. One car big time out of sorts down the backstretch. That is Justin Branham, maybe just trying to push that 58 just a little bit too hard. Able to hang on to that race car, but lost a decent chunk of time, but could have been a lot worse, as we've seen many times so far here tonight. So right behind them, Dan Dill putting the pressure on Kenny Reel. Dill will look to the high side of the 11. Will be able to drive it in there deep, wash quite a bit up the racetrack. Kenny Reel able to hang on to the spot. Dill will look for the crossover, but doesn't quite have enough of a run to make it stick this time by. Some great racing here since the drop of the green flag after our 5th yellow of the night. So far has been nice and clean, pretty good racing here throughout the field. Oh, one car in the wall there off of turn number 4. That is the 88 machine of Dylan Jacobs. Jacobs will lose about 4 spots there down the front straightaway. I think just got up into the marbles, got up too high on the speedway, bounced it off the wall. You can see just how much speed he lost as well as positions. Caleb Hatt will, oh man, drive it in there deep, bounce it off the wall as well. Jeff Pogo will squirt on by in the 97. So Pogo currently still running around that 14th position here. Most of these cars here towards the back dealing with some ill-handling race cars. That's because probably most of them having some sort of damage they acquired at some point in the night. Christian Delgado up in front, but under fire from Johnny Barker. We will have a battle for the race lead here at the moment. Currently looking at a 4-car battle for 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th here. Delgado was able to give himself a little bit of breathing room there in turns 1 and 2. We're looking at here Kenny Reel keeping the pressure on the back bumper of Dan Dill. Dill will get a little out of sorts there, lose the back end just a little bit. And you can see Kenny Reel right to the back bumper. Will push the 81 machine here into turn number 1. And Kenny Reel knows he has to go here, doesn't want to get stuck on the freight train with, 3 to 4 cars right behind him here. Reel will give Dill a shot. That sends the 81 way up the hill. Dill will smack the wall there. Oh man, oh man. That was definitely a little bit of an assist for an overdrive there from the 11 to the back bumper of the 81 machine. We don't see it repaid there in turns 1 and 2. Kenny Reel maybe realizing his mistake, lets the 81 go, but now he sits with a hornet's nest right behind him. Right on board with Dustin Coggin, trying to get around the one of Brandon Guerin. Guerin was to the inside of the 42 machine, not quite the case anymore. So up towards the front, Christian Delgado still currently sets the pace over Johnny Barker. Those 2 cars kind of in their own zip code here at the moment. Then about 2 seconds back, Rob Lowell was able to pass Matthew Taylor back for that 3rd position. So put Lowell up into 3rd, Matthew Taylor 4th. Then we have back a little bit further to another 2-car breakaway. Frank Zingen 5th, Nick Larson 6th. And then Justin Branaham on his own island in 7th. Then we head back to that great battle from 8th on back here on the Speedway. This battle now includes up to 13th as Eli Raposa has entered into the battle. And here, before we know it, Stephen Holmes will be right there as well. Let's ride on with Stephen Holmes, as he has been pretty quick the last couple times on by. You can see up further in the track, Kenny Reel to the inside of Dan Dill. You can see just how bumpy this concrete is. These cars bouncing on around, sliding on around the speedway. As we saw early in this race, this track not easy to get around here. As we start to get closer and closer to the halfway point here tonight. Frank Zingen was able to get around Matthew Taylor. Now Nick Larson will try and do the same right in front of that battle for that 8th position. This is currently battle for a top 5 here at the moment if Larson can complete the pass. The 2 machine will be able to complete the pass off of turn number 2, so you got to wonder, did Matthew Taylor use up those tires just a little bit too much, because him and Nick Larson on the same tire strategy, and Larson able to get away, start to get away from him here right in front of the 8. So Kenny Reel around Dan Dill. Now it's Dustin Coggins and Brandon Guerin side by side right behind the 81 machine. They will fall into line here down the back straightaway. Now Garen will take a peek here to the inside of Dill. Nothing doing there, but can Coggins build up a run here, try and get side by side once again with the number one? Looks like he cannot. So everyone here at the moment currently running single file compared to the cars around him. So things calming on down just a little bit. This guy knows he needs to go on a run, and so far he is doing just that, because this time by Christian Delgado will be the first car to see the cross flags here. Halfway down, halfway to go in the Honky Tonk 200. Further towards the mid-pack here, Kenny Reel able to get around Justin Brannahan for that 7th position. And we got some takers down on pit road. It looks like the first car down will be John Buell, and I think maybe Caleb Hatt down on pit road as well. So it looks like 17 cars still out on the racetrack. It looks like Caleb Hatt calling it a night. So like I said, 5 cars now retired out of this race. John Buell, first car down on pit road to get service. So we'll see if that causes a chain reaction, see if anyone else decides to come on down here early. I think that pit window right around 60 laps, so if anyone wants to try the undercut, get on down pit road. We may see it start to get pretty busy with about 85 laps into this race. For the race lead here, Johnny Barker has closed the gap within 1 car length here, so let's ride on board with Delgado. Looking back at Johnny Barker. Barker will take a whiff to the inside, can't quite get the run. We'll try and put the pressure on Delgado. Barker's making sure that 31 sees him in that left side mirror, letting him know, hey man, I'm here if you do make a mistake. You can hear Delgado slide the tires just a little bit on exit. Barker now will drive it in there deep, look to the high side of the 31 machine. Delgado will once again slide that right up to the wall. Great battle for the race lead. Barker still putting on a ton of pressure to our race leader. He's just trying to put Delgado in a bad spot, wait for that 31 machine to make a mistake, as Barker almost gets the wall there down the backstretch. Oh, Delgado missed the bottom there. This could be the opportunity Barker needs. These guys second and third in the points and duking it out here for the lead. Barker will have a nose to the inside of the 31 machine. These two in their own zip code here at the moment can afford to fight each other just a little bit, but these two do not want to get into each other, cause a caution, or take themselves out of contention, because I'm sure coming into tonight they were looking at big picture, and this is what both drivers need here. So Johnny Barker back out to the point of tonight's race, led the field to the green flag just after the halfway point. The Valvoline number 6 machine back out in front. Johnny Barker starting to walk away just a little bit here. We're going to take a look here. This time by at the stripe, take a look at drivers' last lap times here, as Barker 31.16 to a 31.35 of Delgado. Then Frank Zing and Rob Lowell in the 31.0s. So those two very quick last time by, some of the best laps of anyone out on the speedway, as they're starting to find some speed here late in the run. Another driver with some speed is Brandon Guerin, starting to turn it up here late. So a lot of drivers trying to find that late run speed here. At first it was all about the short runs. Now It's about who took care of those tires, who's on the best strategy. As most of these guys pitted anywhere from lap 24 to about 48 is the latest, but most of the field on the 24 to 35 strategy. Here we go, first taker on 85. Matthew Taylor, first car inside of the top 10. He's down on pit road. We'll see when everyone else decides to come on down. The car on the oldest tires is our third place driver, Rob Lowell. Lowell been able to hang on to that race car, running some decent lap times with those tires being over 60 laps old. If I was a bet man, I would have to expect that 21 machine, one of the first cars down on pit road here tonight. As further on back, looks like Stephen Holmes able to get back up into the top 10 here tonight. Was able to get around Dustin Coggins on the front stretch here. So Rob Lowe, Frank Zingen going to be the best battle here on the speedway, as the 62 has been hounding the back bumper of the 21 machine. Last couple times about half a tenth better for the 62. It's just very, very tough to pass with these old tires. Gonna have to wait for a mistake, and that's a tall ask to ask the 21 to make a mistake, but we did see a few of them at Bristol, but this track very, very different from the Bristol Motor Speedway. So Johnny Barker out in front, able to stretch his lead to about half a second over Christian Delgado. So he has been able to start to walk away, but Rob Lowe and Frank Zingen both have been starting to catch the front two here. As Delgado now within 1 second off the nose of the 21 machine. Another taker down on pit road, the 42 machine of Dustin Coggin. Coggin able to get back out to the speedway. He finds himself just one lap down here at the moment. Looks like here at the moment, Justin Branaham, currently the lucky dog candidate. He was also down on pit road. He last pitted on lap 80. And just to say the difference here in times, you know, Matthew Taylor just came down on pit road not too long ago. Just ran a 30.41, where the leaders are 31.2. So about 0.8 of a second advantage to taking tires, if not maybe a little bit more, as these guys continue to run laps. So definitely a big time advantage to those tires when these drivers decide to take them. And that 0.8 of a second, you know, Nick Larson, let's say in 5th position, a second and a half back. If he pits 2 laps before Johnny Barker, able to go out there, hit his marks, he could jump Barker in the running order. And we can see how difficult it is here to pass tonight. So it might be all about when these drivers decide to come on down pit road. Further on back here, Stephen Holmes was able to get around the 81 machine of Dan Dill. That puts the 90 of Stephen Holmes up into P number 8 once again. Almost back to where he started. The 90 of Holmes was able to roll off 7. Now here in the closing stages of the race, back up into 8th. So battle for second starting to heat on up. Rob Lowell has chased down Christian Delgado, now within 2 car lengths of the 31 machine. Delgado's tires definitely starting to fall off the cliff here tonight. Lowell will look to the inside of the 31. He will complete that pass there, easy peasy. And I think if I'm Delgado, you know, as soon as Zingen goes around, for sure when Nick Larson goes on around me, I'm diving down into pit road. Because even with the advantage, you know, Matthew Taylor just ran a 30.37, a second advantage. But that's probably with Taylor pushing very, very hard. You still have to manage these tires for another 50 laps, so it's going to be a toss-up here as now Larson looking to get around Zingen here for that 4th position. This could now allow Delgado to get a few more laps in that 3rd position here. As with these guys side by side, that's going to slow up their pace just ever enough to keep that 31 out in front of them. As Nick Larson will be able to complete the pass and head down the backstretch now, set his sights on Delgado for 3rd. Looks like the 21 machine of Rob Lowell, first driver to pull the trigger. Nick Larson, Delgado made contact. Larson able to hang on to that race car, save of the year, as Larson's still trying to get that car rolling. Man, those tires were hot. Somehow he hung onto that race car. As wow, what a save by Nick Larson. Him and Christian Delgado make contact there. And with that, Johnny Barker, Rob Lowell, Brandon Guerin, Eli Raposa all peeled down to pit road. Now the next group of cars do the same. It's Delgado, Zingen, and Kenny Reel all down on pit road. That now leaves out on track Stephen Holmes, able to lead the first lap of the day for the number 90. Dan Dill will stay on out, same with the 97 of Jeff Pogo. Man, oh man, that could have been very, very bad. Somehow Nick Larson hangs onto that race car. That probably has to be save of the year, if not for sure in contention of that. As Stephen Holmes last time down on pit road, lap 42. So I don't think he'll be able to make it to the end here tonight, but it's going to be very close. As you know, we saw Rob Lowell come on down from lap 14, make it all the way to about lap, I want to say, let me double check my math here. He was able to make it to lap 95, so that's 80 laps. So technically, if Stephen Holmes was saving enough fuel, he might be able to make it to the end. Jeff Pogo last down on pit road on 48. He could maybe make it to the end. Wow, what a flip in the script. If the 97 of Pogo can make it on a strategy, you could still see that damage to the right front fender of this 97 machine. You know, pace isn't there with that damage, but could very well be the strategy call, as now we see Stephen Holmes down on pit road. So this will once again put the 97 machine of Jeff Pogo out to the lead. Here at the moment, looks like no cars except for the 47 machine of John Buell with penalties on pit road. So Buell got caught probably speeding on pit road. So now 47 finds himself all the way back in 17th position. So from the pit stops here, Johnny Barker hounding Matthew Taylor. This is a battle for the 3rd position out here tonight. And I'm going to go, since everyone's starting to get spread on out, we're going to go pull up the track map on the right side of your screen, see where your favorite drivers are running. But currently looking at the battle for 3rd here off of turn number 4, and you can see all the way just exiting turn number 2 is 2nd place Chris Taylor, and then Jeff Pogo just hitting the start finish line here in the 97. So at the moment, Pogo lapped up into the top 10 here. Nick Larson will be quick to get his lap back, same with Stephen Holmes and Dan Dill. As man, oh man, it's about to be a wild conclusion to the race here tonight. Can Jeff Pogo bring home enough fuel? I don't think he'll have the pace to win this race because he's about a second and a half off of Johnny Barker. So with Barker about 20 seconds back, it's only going to take Barker, you know, I want to say less than 10, well, just over 10 laps to get to the back bumper of Jeff Pogo. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see if it stays green and Pogo can make it where he only falls to, because with this strategy, I could see him hanging on to about a top 10 finish as we see Frank Zingen getting around Dustin Coggins. Coggins, one of the earlier cars down on pit road, was able to jump quite a few positions, still hanging out inside the top 10. Another driver to pit early, still able to hang on to quite a few of them here, is the 58 of Justin Branaham. Branaham, though, about a half a second slower than the cars behind, so he's going to have to hope that the cars behind start using up that freshness here just a little bit more on those race cars. But so far, if Branaham hangs out here, you know, probably has at least one more set of tires. If there is a yellow and right now has the track position, that is very good for the 58 machine. As Kenny Reel on those 16 lap newer tires on the 11, quickly catching the back bumper of the 58, will go to the high side and probably make this pass look easy once they get down into turns number 1 and 2. Not as easy as I thought it would be, as Branaham holding his own on the inside lane. Kenny Reel just able to get clearer once they get to turns number 3 and 4. So Justin Branaham, if he can hold that inside lane, make these cars work their way around the high side, he might be onto something just a little bit here as those fresh tires start to wear on out. Penalty police out once again for the 31 machine of Christian Delgado. Delgado finds himself here at the moment, I want to say, yeah, 2 laps down in 17th position. So Delgado too fast on pit road at some point. So his night goes from a great run leading a lot of laps to now in a big time hole here at Nashville Super Speedway. Delgado able to get around John Buell for position, but Ariba Caton, currently the lucky dog car, currently sitting 1 lap down here. As Caton, though, about to go 2 laps down here maybe, but Delgado right in front of him, so has pretty much the whole track to try and catch that 30 machine for the lucky dog. And once he does that, he needs it twice in a row. So might be a heartbreaking race for our drivers, second in points here at Nashville Super Speedway. So at the moment, Jeff Pogo on his own island. Next car behind him, though, is our second place runner, Johnny Barker, able to get around Chris Taylor. And Johnny Barker has been about a second and a quarter better than Jeff Pogo the last couple of times. Here on the left side of your screen here, folks, you can see the difference in speed. So it's pretty much just Pogo and Taylor that has yet to pit. You can see the difference in the lap times here. Then look back to the 8th position runner, Justin Branaham. He was the first car to pit on tires on lap 80. Most of the rest of the field pitted anywhere from lap 95 to lap 98. So a lot of strategy going on here tonight. That time by now Barker a second and a half quicker. So now Johnny Barker within 5 seconds of our race leader. Jeff Pogo is hoping for one thing, and that is a caution flag here, preferably before Johnny Barker catches him. But you know, even if he gets a yellow once he's in the top 5, you know, he is still sitting in a great spot compared to where he was before. As we see the battle for third here, Rob Lowell on those fresh tires, going to be able just to walk right around the 69 of Chris Taylor. Chris Taylor, another one of those drivers in the gamble here to try and make it to the rest of the way. You know, was right around for sure outside of the top 10 here. Currently finds himself in P number 4. But if you're Johnny Barker, Rob Lowell, even Matthew Taylor, you're hoping that this race goes green to the end of this one. These last 35 laps, clean and green. We can see here, gap now down within half a second for the race lead. Johnny Barker is there. Jeff Pogo probably will put up no contest here, and that's exactly what he'll do. Pogo knows he has a bigger battle in store, so Johnny Barker back out in front here at Nashville Super Speedway. Now Pogo sits with about a quarter of a track advantage over the 21 machine of Rob Lowell. Matthew Taylor currently trying to get around Chris Taylor. This battle for the 4th position. Once again, new tires versus old. That 8 car of Matthew Taylor gonna make it look pretty easy here. But Matthew Taylor on slightly older tires than the car behind him. Kenny Reel right there now as Matthew Taylor not able to complete the pass here. Here comes Kenny Reel trying to get a 2-for-1 here in 3 and 4. Kenny Reel gonna drive around him like they're standing still. So here at the moment, I think if this race runs green to the end, Kenny Reel will be our 3rd place finisher here on the podium. As that time Chris Taylor loses the front end there, 1 and 2. That will allow Matthew Taylor and it looks like even Frank Zingen to get on by. Chris Taylor trying to just hold on to a ill-handling race car as long as he can here. Has to do it still though, about another 30 laps or so. Johnny Barker though setting sail out in front about, he'll probably have a 5.5 second advantage over Rob Lowell because Lowell now takes over the runner-up position here as Pogo slots into P number 3. So we'll see what Lowell can do to catch Johnny Barker, but at the moment it seems like Barker having the best pace out of most cars out on track. The only one that's kind of close to him is our 4th place runner, Kenny Reel. Another driver deeper in the field here. We saw the incident right before the 2 car of Nick Larson headed to pit road. Larson, another driver, putting up some great lap times here, but he finds himself outside of the top 10 here. Johnny Barker into a little bit of lap traffic here, putting the 30 machine 1 lap down. Going to try and put the 47 machine 3 laps down. Excuse me, put the 30 machine 2 laps down. As Barker can take his time here with these lap cars, doesn't have to push the issue, do anything too crazy, has a big time cushion to his teammate in 2nd. So Kenny Reel has taken over the 3rd position here. Frank Zingen now up into fourth, trying to reel in Kenny Reel. Zingin last time by, able to put 2/10 on Kenny Reel. Jeff Pogo trying to hang on to that fifth position out here as he has the pack closing on in. You can see all the cars right behind the 97. All those will be for position out here tonight. Brandon Guerin to the inside of the 97. Now Matthew Taylor will go on around. And wow, here late in the race, Jeff Pogo taking the strategy option, saying, you know what? I'm going to go come down to pit road, try and get those tires. So even if Pogo can push it all the way to the end, I think he'll only have like a half a second advantage over the field. This will for sure put him 1 lap down. We'll put him close to 2 laps down here, so gonna be a tough break for Pogo. We'll see if he decides to take 2 tires here, or if it'll be a 4-tire stop for the 97. Right sides go up on the 97 of Pogo. We'll wait to see. Yes, the left sides will go up, so a 4-tire stop for the 97. And we'll see him probably just get out in front of the 6 of Johnny Barker, our race leader. So Jeff Pogo will be our lucky dog candidate here. Won't probably have enough time to unlap himself before then, but if there is a yellow flag here before the end of this one, he will try and make it here, as it looks like now Chris Taylor in the 69 machine diving down to pit road. So I'll ask guys to hold on out to the green flag pit stops, now down on pit road. Johnny Barker, though, this time by, we'll see the countdown clock. It is 25 laps to go for our race leader. Currently, best battles on the speedway here are for 8th, 9th, and 10th, as Nick Larson able to go from 12th now all the way up to P number 8 here tonight. So Larson should have enough time to maybe get to Stephen Holmes and Matthew Taylor. Will be pretty close, but will be a great rebound from that contact right before he pitted during the green flag pit stops. Like I said, folks, Nick Larson definitely in contention of save of the year. Had to save that car 3 or 4 times down the front stretch and able to keep it out on the speedway, keep it green. As here we go, Matthew Taylor getting hunted down by Stephen Holmes. Holmes around the inside here, and what a rebound it would be for the 90 machine. Find himself 1 lap down here early. Gonna try and see if he can reel in Brandon Guerin, finish in the top 5 here before it's all said and done. We head back here to that 3-car battle, kind of spreading on out here at the moment. Dan Dill now quickly catching the back bumper of Dustin Coggin. Coggin currently trying to hold on to that 10th position here tonight. Dan Dill trying to get up into 10th where he started this race here. Looks like Dill will be able to complete the pass there in turn 3. We'll try and drive away from the 42 off of turn number 4. So up towards the front here, Johnny Barker, Rob Lowell running the same exact lap time. So that gap staying right around that 5.5 seconds mark. Then right behind them, Kenny Reel here, starting to drive away a little bit from Frank Zingin. About a 2-second gap between 3rd and 4th here. As Reel maybe turning it up for these last 20 laps. Can he catch Rob Lowell for that runner-up finish? So at the moment, Jeff Pogo currently sits our lucky dog candidate. Pogo here running flying laps, 30.19s here, as he gets a little bit of traffic out in front of him. You can see Pogo, like I mentioned before, current lucky dog candidate, first car 1 lap down out here tonight. We'll get around the 31 machine of Delgado. Now we'll try and do the same to Dustin Coggin. All these guys not racing for position though. As right in front of them though, battle for position as Dan Dill gets around Justin Branham. That is for P number 9. Right in front of them as well. Nick Larson up into 7th, able to get around Matthew Taylor. Now Larson has the tall order to try and catch Stephen Holmes. Holmes about 3 lap newer tires than the number 2, so it'll be very, very tough to try and catch that 90 before it's all said and done. Justin Branham's car here fading away here in the closing stages. Was the first car to pit, was able to jump up all the way to the podium, but has since fallen here as these tires continue to wear. First car down on pit road, as now the only position he has to worry about is the 42 that sits about 10 car lengths behind, as John Buell will go on by here. He has to worry about the 42 of Dustin Coggins. This could be a battle here for a top 10 finish before it's all said and done. Oh man, Branham will get a big piece of the wall there off of turn number 4. That will probably affect the handling of the 58 machine, and that allows Coggins to close right in on the back bumper. Branham knows he doesn't have much left in the tank. We'll give the inside to Dustin Coggin. That moves Coggin up into the top 10. Eli Raposa starting to catch those two right in front of him. So Raposa involved in a earlier yellow flag. Could maybe walk away here with a top 10 here, because it doesn't look like Coggin is driving away that fast in front of him. Coggin last pitted on 86. Branham last pitted on lap 80. Eli Raposa on 95. So best tires out of these 3 cars going to Raposa. Then it's Coggins. Then it's Branham. Last time by, Raposa was at least 2/10 quicker than the cars in front of him, so he should be able to catch these cars. The next question is, can he get around them? He gets in within 1 car length of the 58, but here comes Chris Taylor on fresh tires. Well, Taylor kind of throw a wrench in this, and if I'm Raposa, you know, I'm letting Taylor go on by and then creating a gap to the cars in front of me for me to pass them. As it looks like Raposa will give him the high side here. Now Taylor will go around the high side of Branham. Branham will miss the bottom there on corner exit. That opens up the door a little bit for Raposa. Doesn't quite have the run to get the nose to the inside. You can see how these tires start to wear away, how difficult it is to hold these cars on the inside lane here. With the speeds that these cars are running, you know, 170 miles an hour down the straightaways, has to wall them all the way down to 130 in the middle of the corner. Then you're right back into the throttle. For sure rolling on it on this stage with the wear of these tires, but as As we now see Eli Raposa getting around Justin Branningham. That is for Pete, number 11. I don't think Branningham has to worry about anyone else getting on around him. As now Raposa tries to set his sights on Dustin Coggin. That would be a top 10 finish for the 46 machine. Further up towards the front here tonight, folks, Kenny Reel has driven to within 1 second of Rob Lowell for that second position here. So Kenny Reel about a 10th quicker, so he's going to have to at least keep that pace, if not a little bit more, if he wants a shot at the runner-up finish before it's all said and done. Because this time by here at the stripe for the number 6, we will have 8 laps to go. So 5 cautions to start the early stage of this race. Since lap 50, we have been clean and green for almost 100 laps here tonight at the Nashville Superspeedway for the Honky Tonk 200. Raposa now within 1 car length of Dustin Coggins. Here we go, a battle for a top 10 finish, heating on up in the closing parts of the race. Kenny Reel closed in big time on Rob Lowell. I think the 21 machine had an issue coming off of turn number 4 last time by. He lost a ton of time to our 3rd place driver. Raposa will look to the inside of the 42. Coggins will give him space. It's going to be a drag race here off of turn number 4. It looks like Raposa will sneak his way into the top 10 here late. Heading back up to that battle for second within 0.4 of a second. These two drivers, Kenny Reel has been turning it up at this pace here, folks. Kenny Reel will get to the back bumper of Rob Lowell before it is finished. The question is, did Kenny Reel use up his stuff to get there? But here we go for the number 6. It will be an open palm from the flagman. 5 laps to go. Kenny Reel still closing the gap. Let's ride on board here with Kenny Reel. Looking forward to the 21 machine in the closing stages. Last time by, Rob Lowell 31.22, as you can see on screen. Kenny Reel 31.05. Lowell gets a bad spot for the lap traffic. Here comes Kenny Reel within a car length. 4 laps to go here at the stripe. Kenny Reel is to the back bumper. What does Rob Lowell do? He will protect the inside lane. Kenny Reel will cross him on over. Here we go, battle for second in the closing stages of the Honky Tonk 200. Side by side, door number to door number here. Kenny Reel, did he save enough stuff to complete the pass? Yes, he did. Rob Lowell has maybe one more chance as the 11 here messes up off of turn number 2. Kenny Reel able to put down the powerboat. Here comes Rob Lowell. He will try once again. Kenny Reel will block down low. Lowell will stick his nose to the inside. They make contact here. Kenny Reel into the wall. He will somehow save that race car, but oh man, people may not be the happiest here in the post race, because I think we'll be talking to both of those drivers here as long as they can hang on for another lap and a half. Man, oh man, some hard-fought racing there. Fenders out, full contact here at Nashville Superspeedway. We head back up to our race leader here. Johnny Barker will see the white flag here. 1 lap to go for the number 6 machine. Barker into a little bit of lap traffic, putting Branningham 1 lap down, has Matthew Taylor right in front of him. will be able to get around Taylor there nice and clean. Everyone else pretty spread on back. But here off of turn number 4, Johnny Barker will win the Honky Tonk 200. Rob Lowe will finish second. Kenny Real will finish in P number 3. It'll be interesting to talk to those two, get their stories here in the post-race show, so don't go anywhere, folks. It's about to be a good one. Matthew Taylor actually just able to hang on to 11th over Justin Branaham. But man, oh man, what a race it's been for this guy. Johnny Barker back up to the stripe, to the front stretch. And here we go, folks. On the front stretch of Nashville Super Speedway, Johnny Barker burning it on down for, I believe, win number 2 of the season. And it couldn't have come at a better time. Jeff Pogo and Christian Delgado both having tough races, so this closes in the top 3 in points just that little bit more. As Johnny Barker here will park it on the front stretch, and we will go to commercial break. And don't go anywhere, folks. Like I said, gonna have a spicy post-race interview if I had to bet. So we will be right back after a quick commercial break for our post-race interviews. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back.
iRacing is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all around the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics, engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 170,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsports organizations like NASCAR to deliver virtual races based on the real-life NASCAR Cup Series, as well as many other series on the NASCAR ladder. iRacing also features team racing, providing a variety of options for members to create and manage their own teams. Race with friends or real-world teammates in full-length endurance events like the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, or the Bathurst 12 Hour. Additional partners include IMSA, World of Outlaws, Supercars, and IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own Indianapolis 500, Bathurst 1000, Chili Bowl, and many more iconic events. This is iRacing, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car. Sign up today at iRacing.com.
So we come back here at Nashville Super Speedway, chatting with our podium finishers. It looks like some of the drivers, we get them done debriefing. So first, we'll be chatting with our third place finisher, that being Kenny Real. Kenny, do you got a copy of Brett the Jet in the booth here?
Yeah, I got you.
All righty, my man. So overall, you come in this race late, a long green flag run there at the end. You finished third, but I know you probably feel like you could have finished maybe one spot better there. Tell me about your race and how we're feeling.
Yeah, it was cautions early. We finally got a green flag run there and saved tires pretty good. That long green flag run we had before everybody pit, and I was running everybody down. I was probably 3-4 tenths faster a lap than everybody there because I just was backing up my corners and I was flying. Then I knew as soon as I got up there, I told my teammates that everybody was going to pit as soon as I got close. And I get not even a half second back or like 3/10, and everybody's tied to the pit. So it worked out for them. They stopped a lap earlier than me, and I knew one lap fresher tires here will do a lot. I came out 7 seconds back of Johnny, and I knew I wasn't going to be able to pull back 7 seconds in 50 laps. I got within a couple seconds of him. Should have had second, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, to have the pace you had, especially that long run after that green flag pit stop, I mean, a little bit of chaos there right before coming to pit road, and then to shift the mindset of, we got to push, because like you said, you saw those cars pit the lap before, but also save your stuff. I mean, how much of a balancing act was it at this track that's, very difficult to save tires with the high speed, low banking corners?
Yeah, this track can really eat your tires up, especially if you don't back up the corners. That's what I was doing the start of the run, just backing up the corners, letting everybody just basically go because I knew what was going to happen. I've raced here a few times, and this track is notorious for eating up tires, and people were just driving in the corner. And after 40 laps, they were just coming back to me. But, there, me and Rob had fun at the end. I think he did what I would have done. But luckily, I saved the car, and we still finished third. I mean, I can't be mad at him, but I would have done the same thing to him.
Yeah, I mean, we got to talk about, of course, that last few laps battle between you and Rob. I mean, hard fought, elbows out racing. Like you said, you would have done the same thing. So no hard feelings about any of that, or what are we taking away from those fireworks?
No, I mean, I did it to somebody earlier for blocking me, so I mean, I can't be mad at him doing that. I didn't really expect it to happen because I did throw a little block, and because he really wasn't there, and then I was turned back up right to come back up the track, and he just sent it in there, and it is what it is. I saved it. He got second, but I mean, I was trying to get back to him because if I would have got back to him, he would have got the same thing back, probably a little bit worse, but it was fun.
Yeah, it looked like this race was a blast, especially once we got to that green flag. Everyone could start running their pace. And, I don't get to interview too many people after the race after a big save like that. I mean, how difficult is it to hang on to these race cars, especially these next gen cars with these independent rear ends and all that stuff, even bouncing it off the wall, let's say?
Really, if you get on the brake, the car's pretty easy to save if you know kind of how to brake and throttle it when it's sideways. I mean, it wasn't too bad. It honestly got back away from me after I got back on the gas because the tires heated up from that little when I got sideways, and I almost turned it around. But they're really not too bad to hang on if you've been wrecked so many times like I have. You get used to saving the car after a while, so it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely takes a lot of skill to save these race cars with the no side force. And you mentioned it. We even saw the likes of Nick Larson, with that big save off of turn number 4. You said, and you said it there, a lot of braking gas, which, isn't in a lot of people's wheelhouse. But I think these next gen just makes you have to kind of learn a new way of saving a race car almost, right?
Yeah, it really with this car, if you just tap the brakes real hard one time, you can be sideways and it'll come back straight. It's just all about using the brake to straighten out the car and not trying to get back on throttle real fast because if you do, it'll just flip it back around. I mean, there's a little trick to it, but it ain't really that hard compared to other cars.
Well, Kenny, it was great talking to you. Once again, congrats on the podium there because, like I said, man, you had some great pace throughout this race. It seemed like, especially once we went to green flag race. And so, Kenny, first and foremost, thanks for you jumping out here tonight, putting on a great show. But we'll now hand over the mic to you and thank who you got to thank on this 11 car, whether it be teammates, some sponsors, or maybe some people tuning on into the broadcast.
I just want to give a shout out to all my teammates over at Penny Stackers. Shout out to my teammates over at the Jack Shack. Shout out to Rob for racing me hard. I like being raced like that. So, and shout out to Johnny for getting the win. Shout out to all the sponsors that put on the league and you for putting on the broadcast, brother.
All righty, Kenny. Well, it's always great chatting with you here. I'm sure we'll be chatting with you at some point again before the season is done. But here tonight, you, my man, take care and have a great rest of your night.
You as well, bro.
All righty, folks. That was Kenny Real able to hang on to somehow a second position when it's all said and done. So now we'll take a chat with our runner-up finisher, that being the 21 machine of Rob Lowe. Rob, do you got a copy?
Hey, Brett, how you doing?
I am doing pretty good myself. Man, what a race we had here at the Nashville Super Speedway. Walk me through it. You were one of the earliest cars on pit road there for the pit strategy, then staying on out as long as you could, and then to a long green flag run. I mean, how'd you juggle all that, and how'd you guys manage the strategy here first and foremost?
First off, I just want to touch base on an admin thing. So we did have to remove Jim Ott from the server. He was blinking a lot. I don't know if you noticed that on the stream or not, but drivers were complaining that he was blinking in and out a lot. It was actually causing contact, even though there was no contact. We were getting a really bad net code from it. A couple guys were complaining. We asked him to drop to the back, just right around the back until it straightens out, so guys can race. He refused. He didn't even acknowledge when I told him that. So as admins, we made the decision to remove him from the race. So I just want to touch base on that. He was leading it when it happens. Very unfortunate. Our rules are, once you're warned, you have to drop to the back and till it gets resolved. And he didn't do that. So that's what happened there. Just explain for the viewers. As far as strategy, so yesterday I totally rebuilt my PC, new motherboard, new CPU, new M.2 storage. Had to download iRace and everything, and I didn't go to my NI file and turn my tires to default off. So I came down pit road, was just to put fuel on a lap 10 there, and I put tires on it. And that was not my strategy. So I was praying for a quick caution, like 10, 15 laps after that, so the rest of the field would drag down pit road and put tires on. I got lucky. That's what happened. And I'd gone easy after that first caution when I had the new tires, just trying to save what I could out of them because I was in the back anyways. So then I got a traction position back. I got the lead there under the yellow, and it worked out. I'd saved enough tires that we went back green. I fell back to 6. And those guys are pushing really, really hard. I said, I'm just going to go a little bit easy here and try to save a little bit more. And by the end of the run there, when I pitted the final time, I feel like I was probably the fastest car on the track. I was faster than Johnny. I was running him down. I'd got by Delgado. But I had come in. I had 2 laps of fuel left. So I came really easy into the pits there. I hadn't practiced the green flag pit stop all week, which is unusual for me. Usually I practice them pretty good. And I was really conservative. Johnny put 3.9 seconds on me. Came out of the pits 3.9 seconds ahead of me, and the difference was 4.1. So, kind of feel that's where Johnny, he executed better on pit road and got in and off better, and that was the difference in the race, I think.
Yeah, that definitely was the case. Luckily, Johnny, not speeding or any thing happening to him on pit road, would have been another heartbreak race for him, but you, Rob, able to bounce back to a second here tonight after kind of a tough break at Bristol, up there running for the lead, and then your night kind of fell apart there after that.
Yeah, Bristol was, Chris and I got together, and I didn't have a lot of damage, and then I was an idiot. I've been trapped down by guys before. You get a bunch of guys lapped down, so you wait a lap to pit, you let the whole field pit, and there's only, I think, 8 of us left on the lead lap at that point. So I was like, you know what? I'm back here 8th anyways because of the yellow and being turned around sideways there. I'll just wait an extra lap so those guys don't get the wave around. I'll pit, and forgot the pits closed at Bristol with 2 to go. And then I had to come down because I had to get the damage fixed. And then I had to serve a penalty under green for entering a closed pit, and it just ruined my night. And it was unfortunate, but that was all on me. My big brain move turned into a bird brain move.
Yeah, definitely a tough break for that race, how it all unfolded. But here tonight, Nashville Super Speedway, you come back, rebound to a P2. I mean, we saw a lot of cars, very difficult to get off the corner here. How'd you manage this difficult racetrack? Because you're hauling a lot of speed down the straightaways, 175 miles an hour plus. Then you got whoa down a lot to about 130. How difficult was this place, and how'd you kind of manage that pace, especially for that long run there at the end of tonight's race.
I'll be honest, Nashville's always been a really good track for me. Since the first time I ever ran it. I got a win here. I think I got a second or a third, and then obviously another second. But Johnny and I practiced a lot this week. It showed. All season I've been working second shift, so during the week I can't practice with Johnny. He's for the last 5 seasons he's been my weeknight practice partner, and we practice, I don't know, probably 5-6 hours a week, and we figure it out together, and we just haven't had that this year. This is the first week where we really put our time in, and it shows. The key to Nashville is you got to woe it up on entry. You got to roll the middle, and I mean roll it like you feel like it's a month of Sundays rolling through the center to go back to throttle on exit. And then it's all about how much throttle you put it on exit and how much wheel you have in it on entry and on exit. So Johnny and I just put our time in, and we got it today where we said if we get long runs, we'll be good. We were worried all week that it was going to go green flag, green to checkered, and you can go about 72 laps if you're shifting here. I could do a run without shifting and get about 78 in, but you abuse the right front a lot more. You'd be down around 23, 30 at the end of a run. And I think tonight I was, like that last run there, I was 54%. And the run where I went the whole fuel run, I was actually better. I was 62 on the right front. But without shifting, you don't have the throttle. The transaxle doesn't turn the car in the middle of the corner. So you burn the right front up more. But we watched practice, and guys were getting loose off and stuff. And we said we said it wasn't going to go caution free. So we decided to go with shifting and not try to play the fuel strategy game, and it worked out for us.
Yeah, that it did, Rob, for you. Able to walk home second, but you knew I was going to bring it up there. That battle between you and Kenny Reel there at the end. What was going through your mind? And man, some elbows out racing. Somehow, both you guys able to finish still on the podium.
So, I don't know if you could go back and bring up my cockpit view and watch it from my cockpit view, and then watch it from the far chase. But with my field of view that I run on a single monitor, I did it with actually Brandon was in the waiting booth, one of Kenny's teammates, and Johnny. And from my field of view, it looks like he swerves down, throws a block at me, comes off the wall like halfway down, throws a block, and then as I got the run on him, get down. To me, it looks like I'm at his left rear bumper cover, and he throws another one, puts me down on the yellow line. And I was like, okay, 2 blocks is something. You throw the third getting in the corner. I'm just gonna nudge you out of the way here. And usually don't race that way. And if you look at the fair chase, it looks far chase looks a little different. But Kenny is an aggressive driver sometimes, and I guess tonight I was aggressive, and I wanted second place back. I'll talk to him, and it was, I know some people would call it good hard racing. I can't say I'm super proud of it. Going back and watching it, what it looked like from my cockpit isn't what I see on the far chase. So that's one of the things about iRacing. The views with the different field of views is, you think it's one way, and then as admins we go back and look at stuff, we we look at cockpit view and far chase view and front chase view, and you look at all that and try to get a picture of what went on. And looking at it, I guess I took a page out of Dale Sr. or Kyle Busch's repertoire. So.
Yeah, definitely rattled his cage. Didn't wreck him or anything, but we chatted with Kenny before you, Rob. He seemed in good spirits about it. He said, I enjoy the hard racing and stuff like that, but he said if he got to your back bumper, he was giving it back to you before the end of this one.
oh yeah, and if you watch, I drove the last lap. He had a run on me, and I drove it in deep, and I just let it wash up. I knew if he got back to me, it was going to be game on. So I did, and honestly, he's out of the points, I'm in the points, and someone that's in the points, I should have been a little smarter in that situation. So I owe it to Kenny. He'd actually give me a break early in the race when I caught him at one point. He let me by, so I don't know. I'll have to buy him a virtual beer or something. I don't know if he's old enough to drink.
Yeah. Whew. Yeah. I mean, a great race nonetheless, Rob. You know, you're out here, a special scheme here tonight. Once again, Gardners Trading Post on the car, and another good finish for that white car. I mean, you have to feel pretty good when you slap this paint scheme on. It seems like some pretty decent luck when you do.
Yeah, I think I've only run it twice, right? And it's got a first and a second, and
Yep.
I don't know. Maybe I'll bring it to Homestead next week. I think it's Homestead we go to next week.
Yeah, I think you're right with that. So, Rob, it's always a great time chatting with you here, but we'll wrap things on up. But before we do that, we'll hand over the mic to you one last time here and have you thank who you got to thank, whether, of course, some of those partners on the car with the league, as well as some of those all-important teammates, or maybe some people watching at home.
I want to thank Riptide Radio, our series sponsor, Jeff Barefoot. Really, appreciate all he does for us. Great guy. He's kind of taking a break from sim racing. He was at Daytona with us, or Talladega with us. You know, he's just at a different point in life where he's got a lot going on, and the area he's living in. And we miss having him in our team chat. But Jeff, I know you watch. We miss you. We love you, and thanks for all you do for us. I want to thank BG Graphix, the Point Fund sponsor, Brandon Grand. I want to thank Out of the Woods Crafts, DTL Customs. I know I'm forgetting somebody. Oh, Leaf Guard for the Pole Award. Johnny, last week I got my teammate Steve Ritter's money, and this week Johnny gets Steve's money. So we're keeping it in the wolf pack with the poles. That was a blazing fast lap Johnny laid down. I was shocked. And then Gardner's Trading Post on the car tonight. I want to thank them. BG Graphix did that paint for me. Thanks to them. And obviously thank you and Turn 3 Racing Network. I want to give a shout out to the ball-headed cue ball, Roger Muth, for broadcasting the Dirt Series over there on Tuesday nights. And I think that's it.
All righty, Rob. Well, it's always a great time chatting with you. And yeah, if we see that paint scheme here next week, we might be chatting to you again there. So for tonight, at least, you have yourself a great rest of the night. And like I said, I'm sure we'll be talking to you again here sometime in the near future.
Thanks. Have a good night, Brett.
All righty. So that was our runner-up finisher, Rob Lowell. Now we'll head down to Victory Lane and talk to the man of the hour. It is Johnny Barker. Johnny, do you got a copy?
I got you, Brett.
All righty, my man. You had some great pace out here tonight, able to walk away with the win. And I tell you what, it's got to feel good because those guys in front of you in points both had bad nights. I mean, how are we feeling at the conclusion of that one?
Man, I tell you, that was, Lord, that was probably one of my best races I've done. Like I said, I felt good from the beginning of the run to the end. Yeah. And then I hate it for them having bad luck, but it does help the points a little bit.
Yeah, that it does. It brings the top three that ever so closer here as we get towards the end. You know, this is race number 15 of 21, so still a lot of racing for a lot of stuff to happen. But, Johnny, I mean, you've been seeming like you've been picking up speed slowly through the season. Tough break at Bristol last week, but to bounce back with a win here tonight, I mean, how much does that change?
Oh, man, I started practicing a little more this week on not just this track, any track of my entry. I think I've been turning my wheel a little too much on entry and burning my right front up a little more. So tonight, it stayed with me right there. That's what I was just telling Kenny. We was talking, and there at the end, I was just trying to keep about once they got about three seconds from me, I was just trying to keep it there. Like I said, the car still felt great right there at the end. So yeah, I was happy with it for sure.
Yeah, and that's the key here with iRacing. You know, we only get, a few inputs into the sim, let's say the wheel and of course brake and gas, right? That's all that there is. So you can limit some of those inputs. It can do a world of benefits here on iRacing, I like to tell people.
Oh yeah, I went from like I said, burning my tires up after about 40 laps to being able to keep them the whole race. So, I mean, that was a big difference.
Yeah, that it was. And once again, Johnny, have an incredible pace here on the long run. You know, we always like to say that is your cup of tea when it gets a long run. The last 100 laps, win all green. What was your mindset with that to make it to the end, as well as keeping that pace at a difficult track? You know, high speed straightaways, low speed corners with low banking. It seemed like a handful, but you managed it very well here tonight.
Yeah, it was. It was a fine line of getting over on the right rear, to wear your right rear a little bit, and then once the run went on, start getting up on the right front, kind of trying to wear them even. And like I said, that last pit stop, when I come out and I had such a good lead, I knew, well, I was pretty sure I was going to be able to hold them off. So, which they was coming. Kenny was super fast. Rob was fast. But I still think that I had another tenth or two in it if I had to.
Yeah, I'm sure you're on cruise control just to make sure, you know, you don't make any sort of those big mistakes. And you had some lap traffic in front of you. But, Johnny, I like to ask you, you know, now with the nice consistent speed you had, you also had some blistering pace, you know, walking away with your now 15th pole award, third of the season, as well as a new track record here at Nashville Super Speedway here with the 802 boys.
Oh, I definitely didn't know that. So, hey, that's good there, too. Yeah, last year, I think it was last year, I had quite a few poles, and for whatever reason this year, I was just, first half of the season, I was just off on qualifying, couldn't catch a break. So, knock on wood, seems like things is turning around for me. So, looking forward to the rest of the season for sure.
Yeah, and with these pole positions starting to roll in the second half of the season, I mean, what does it do to a driver to not only start up front, but have that extra confidence of the speed? I mean, it's got to help some way because, you know, I always bring it up, but I don't know if the viewers really know what's at stake at qualifying even.
Oh, yeah, it's big. To me, it's big. You stay out of trouble. Even though the night I think it was Jeff got loose and got into me early on, but yeah, that's to me that's the key. Start up front, stay out of trouble. When you're starting the back or having to work through cars, you know, it's just the big chance of someone wrecking in front of you, or you know, half the wrecks this year, I just got caught in someone else's bad luck.
Yep, and that's always the case, especially when you get around those other cars like you mentioned, Johnny, as well as, you know, you have to use up your stuff a little bit that you wouldn't like to, you know, can't quite set the pace because you're trying to juggle the track position versus trying to save those tires if we do get a long run. But overall, Johnny, a great race for you here tonight, able to close up that points battle here heading to Homestead. How are we feeling about that track? Because not quite the same, but another very driver-dependent track there next week.
I have not turned a lap at Homestead. I wanted to do it this week and just didn't make time to do it. So I'm hoping I can get it figured out this week. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, that place always puts on a great show here on iRacing and in real life. You know, a great race on the real life cup side of things, and of course a great race here tonight. So Johnny, we'll let you get back to celebrating down in victory lane with everyone on else. But before we let you do, I'm going to go hand over the mic to you and thank who you got to thank, whether sponsors with the car, some of those all-important teammates, or maybe some people tuning in at home.
Yeah, definitely want to thank my teammates over there at Wolfpack Racing, Nick and Rob. We, like I said, we practice good all week. And like I said, I ain't trying to repeat myself, but that does make a big difference. So I want to appreciate both of them. All the league sponsors, definitely thank them, Rob and all the admins that put this on. I know it's a job to do for sure. So want to thank them. Thank you for the broadcast. Just like every Sunday, I'm fixing to jump off and kick back and watch it.
All righty. Well, awesome stuff, Johnny. You'll be excited to watch this one back. Not only win, but it's still an action-packed race. So you, my man, have a great rest of the night, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you again here in the near future.
Well, I sure hope so. Thank you, Brett.
All righty, folks. That was Johnny Barker down in Victory Lane for race number 15, the Honky Tonk 200 now. The only thing we have left for the race here tonight is to head on over and figure out where everyone finished on up. So let's see the race results from race number 15. Johnny Barker picking up the win here tonight. This will be win number 2 of the season for the number 6. Finishing in the runner-up position will be the 21 of Rob Lowell. Rounding out the podium, going to the 11 car, that is Kenny Reel. Finishing in P number 4 will be the 62 of Frank Zingen. And then the biggest mover of the night, a great rebound by this guy right here. In the number 1, it is Brandon Guerin finishing 5th. 6 going to another driver rebounding here nicely. 1 lap down earlier in the race. Will battle his way back up into 6th position. It is Stephen Holmes in the 90. Nick Larson there, trouble right before the green flag pit stops. Will finish in 7th. 8th going to Dan Dill. 9th is Eli Raposa. And then rounding out the top 10 is Dustin Coggin. Justin Branham will just beat out Matthew Taylor. Branham finishing 11th. 12th going to Matthew Taylor. Both those cars actually crashing across the start finish line. Then in 13th, our points leader coming in and exiting tonight will be Jeff Pogo. 14th is Chris Taylor. 15th going to Christian Delgado. Finishing in 16th is Ariba Caton. 17th, John Buell. 18th is Caleb Hatt. 19th going to Jason Arison. 20th, Dylan Jacobs. 21st is Jim Ott. And then 22nd and rounding out the field here tonight is Cody Brewer. So that will do it for the post-race report here tonight. Of course, we got to thank all the series sponsors. Rob did a great job touching on all of them, but once again, we got to give a big shout out to the title sponsor, Riptide Radio. You can see a QR code there on your screen. That will take you to the Riptide Radio app if you want some of the best beach and boogie music from Ocean Drive, North Myrtle Beach, North Carolina. Be sure to check them on out. We also got to shout out Leaf Guard for the Polo War. BG Graphics coming on board with the Points Fund. Out of the Woods Crafts, another partner. Same with the Stone and GStone, as well as DTL Custom Graphics. Here with Turn 3 Racing Network, we are also partnered with that logo in the bottom right of your screen. That is, of course, Premier Setup Shops. If you want some of the best setups, especially on the dirt, be sure to check them out. With the link in the description, that'll take you over to there. That shows their support for us, that we can give some back and support them as well. Also, they don't always have setups. They have a lot of cool other stuff if you guys are interested. Even if you don't want to buy anything, a link would go a long way, and I would greatly appreciate it. I've been Brett the Jet in the booth with Turn 3 Racing Network. Be sure to tune into Turn 3 throughout the week, as we have a lot of great series. You can hear myself on Wednesday nights, or like Rob mentioned, on Tuesdays. You can check out the Dirt 802 guys racing around in the big block modifieds. And I tell you what, those races are always special. So once again, got to thank all the live viewers, all the replay viewers tuning on in. Thanks for, believe if I had to guess, that was Jason Wiley out there in the chat. So appreciate you guys always leaving something for me to chat about. Got to give a big shout out to all the racers that come on out with the 802 group to put on the show for all of us to watch. So I have been Brett the Jet in the booth here. Everyone stay safe. Have a great week. We'll catch you in 1 week's time on the same place on the Turn 3 Racing Network for race number 16 at the Homestead Miami Speedway. So I've been Brett the Jet in the booth, and I just flew by you. Have a good one.